Wow, it's been an eventful day. This morning I woke up and was going to take off, and it just didn't, I don't know, just didn't feel like I should. We got to talking and conversation progressed, and then as I'm sitting there about noontime, some guy walks in, and it's one of the neighbors and Vince's friend, and he's also an LDS guy. And it was just interesting. He walks in and he says, "Hey, are we going?" And Vince says, "Where?" And he says, "To the dedication ceremony for the solar panels that they're putting in up here in Nevada." So I said, "Well, hey, I want to go." So we all jumped in the truck, and in the process, that was right towards the town that I was headed for anyway, or going to pass through today. So I threw my stuff in the truck and we went to the dedication ceremony, and there was a bunch of middle schoolers there. That was interesting to see them participating and explaining what really what's going on and how it's working and how much it costs and who's funding it and et cetera, and it all sounded very matter of fact and straightforward, and really 2/3 of it was taken care of through government grants through 2 different programs. I wasn't able to just record it and hear very well because we were dealing with storms, and it was just kind of a challenge, but had to keep my phone under cover and my recording equipment under cover for the most part. But it was interesting to see it happening in a small town. They put in a 93 kilowatt hour, or however you say it, but 93 kilowatt hour system. And it was just really neat to see that happening. And then when we left there, just less than a half a mile up the road, there's this Cathedral Gorge State Park, which is freaking incredible. And Vince, the guy that I was staying with, has lived here all his life. Matter of fact, I'm now in Caliente, where he grew up. But he's lived there all his life, and he's just wanted to show it to me. So we went in there, and in Cathedral Gorge, there's these massive, extremely tall, I don't even know how you say it, just gorges that are cut out in this material that's sandy and crumbly. If you touch it, it's almost like the world's biggest sandbox, and you're inside it, and like this little ant looking up at these massive, amazing gorges cut out. Every time it rains, it just cuts it out, and it's this clay sand-like material that then it just rolls across the gorge, and it's just slowly eroding over time, and it's just amazing. And it had just rained, obviously, so it looked different than it would look if it was dry, and it was slick, and it was kind of hard to hike back in there, and I got a little bit muddy, but you know what? That was fun and very interesting and unique. And the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, helped to develop that ground and helped to build the state park that's there. Matter of fact, there's been a lot of CCC projects that were implemented and have made some really interesting things out here in the Southwest, and I didn't know that until now. And if you didn't, now you know. So then, as we're driving out of the park, it's just getting ready to dump buckets of rain, and the clouds are dark, and it's just nasty looking outside, and I do not want to ride in it, but I need to make progress. And I just said, Stuart, the guy that's driving the truck, and Vince and I were riding with him, I said, "Hey buddy, would you be interested in taking me on to Caliente? It's another 15 miles and cuts out the rain, and can I just put some fuel in your truck if you would take me to there?" And I have, he said, "Absolutely." He said, I'll drive to Caliente today." So, and here's the bike. I'm in this little porch area, kind of a backyard barbecue type place here at the VFW in Caliente, but and that's where they dropped me off, because the park is right here, and I can hang my hammock up there between a couple of trees, or a post in a tree if I want to, or I can use these poles at the VFW. I think it's probably safer at the VFW, but here's the reason why, the main reason why I wanted to get a ride, and it's simply this. If I would have been dropped back at Panaca, or however you say it, to leave in the morning, it would have been too far from here through Caliente and then on to Rachel, which I'm taking the extraterrestrial highway, which is going to be super cool. I'm excited about that. But Rachel's like in the heart of it, I think. So it would have been too far all at one trip for me. So with the weight I have and all that. So it just made sense for me to start here in the morning and go to Rachel, because then the next trek or the next day would have been from Rachel to Warm Springs, and that's another trek that if just the timing, the way it's going to work, I needed to start from here, this being one day, and the next day to Rachel, and the next day to Warm Springs, and the next day to the next section, because there's nothing else in between to even do anything. And really, Warm Springs, there's nothing there either, but maybe just a handful of people, which is what you need. I mean, if you're gonna help each other, I mean, that's what this project is about, right? It's about working together and building relationships and using community. And you know, I'm testing the very boundaries of the human spirit, and that is using just a handful of people to possibly get through. And let's not even get through. I mean, I could do it without them, but the project is about using these kinds of people, and about the possibilities of what happens when hearts come together and when we work together and build relationships. And it's happening, but I'm wanting it to happen, but I'm allowing God and the universe, because I believe God and the universe, it's all the same. Because when we're present in real time right now, we're allowing us to be available to be used by a higher being, and to be used for a higher purpose. And that's what I'm trying to allow to happen. This project wasn't about jumping on a bike, riding across the country, and proving that I could do it every mile, because to me, that is a pointless purpose to ever set out to do. I didn't set out to do any of that. What I set out to do was to ride across the country using a bicycle and solar energy, and to use alternative energy and human-assisted transportation to film what's happening across North America. And that's what I set out to do, and to share it with you through the eyes or through the looking glass or glasses of sustainability. And that's what I wanted to happen from the get-go, and I hope that you're seeing that. And you know, it just wasn't about alternative energy and green buildings and sustainable business, and that's not what this project was about. Not once was this project ever laid out to be like that. What I set out to do